Hey guys, I'm Jake. Welcome to Nature Beings, and this is the second video in my series of how to control high blood pressure by striking a balance between foods that you need to eat and foods that you don't need to eat. I'm sure you must have watched my first video, so in the second video, I'm going to start right away with the list of top 12 foods that you need to stop eating right away to control your high blood pressure. Number one on the list, and very common and very popular, breakfast cereals. Now, almost all the breakfast cereals that you get in the supermarket are high in sodium, but the biggest culprit here is cornflakes, and they have been projected as the healthy food for people, especially if you are on a diet or you want to lose weight. Cornflakes, just a small cup of cornflakes contains approximately 250 mg of sodium. In addition to high sodium level, another thing which is detrimental in case of high blood pressure is sugar. And all these cereal, when you look at the ingredient profile behind the box, they all contain more than 10 grams of sugar per serving. So you're consuming sodium as well as sugar in these cereals. So my personal suggestion is try and avoid eating breakfast cereals. Next on the list of foods to avoid, frozen meals. So frozen meals like frozen pizza or meatballs or all those frozen meat meals that you get, approximately they contain anywhere between 1500 to 1800 mg of sodium. Basically, all frozen meals are preserved by using salt, and when you consume them with that much of a high level of sodium, it causes water retention. That water retention gives you that bloated feeling, and it also leads to hypertension or increase in your blood pressure. Furthermore, these so-called frozen meals, they also contain high amount of calories, especially pizzas and all. They contain a lot of cheese. So just a small serving of pizza contain approximately 700 mg of sodium. Next on the list, canned foods. Everything that comes in a can like beans or chickpeas or even tomato soup, everything that is canned contains a lot of sodium because they are preserved by using salt. And one of the biggest contributor of sodium in this list of canned food is tomato juice. Just a can of tomato juice can contain approximately 700 mg of sodium per serving. So in case you are buying your canned tomato juice, make sure that the ingredient label says at least 140 minimum 140 mg sodium, then it's fine. But like I said, most of them contains approximately 700 mg. Even though the raw form of a tomato contains only around 7 to 8 mg of sodium. So if you want to make your sauce at home, it would be a better option. Next on the list, dairy products. Even though dairy products are considered a good source of calcium and protein, but they contain a significant amount of sodium, especially cottage cheese and sliced cheese. They are extremely rich in sodium. So next time when you ask for that extra slice of cheese on your burger, remember that one slice of American cheese contains approximately 400 to 450 mg of sodium. I would say that the better option in case of cheese is mozzarella or Swiss cheese, which contains around 50 to 60 mg of sodium. Next on the list, bagels. I love eating bagels, but I eat them very rarely because bagels again contain a lot of sodium. I mean, one single bagel contains approximately 450 to 500 mg of sodium. And one thing is a given that when you are eating bagel, you are definitely going to put some cheese on it, and that will further increase the amount of sodium. So I would say that you cannot completely stop eating bagels because they are yummy, but the best thing is to always try and choose the whole grain bagels and smaller size bagels. Also, don't use very heavy sodium cheese spread on it. Check the level of salt and sodium in your cheese spread as well. So that way you can still enjoy your bagel once in a while. Next on the list, deli meat or processed meat. Since many centuries, salt has been used as a common preservative to preserve meat and many other food, but it increases the sodium content of the processed meat that we get in the market, sausages or salamis or any kind of preserved chicken or beef or any meat that you like. So for example, just a small piece of ham contains approximately 300 mg of sodium. So if you are putting in around 4 slices, so you can multiply it. That comes around 1200 mg of sodium just by adding 4 slices of ham to your sandwich. And like I said earlier, in case of bagel, in case of sandwich also, they all come with some kind of a cheese spread or mustard spread, which further increases the level of sodium. So I would say that try and stick to fresh meat, try and avoid processed meat as much as you can. Next on the list, tomato products. Nobody would ever think about it, but just a small serving of marinara sauce contains approximately 300 mg of sodium. Other examples of popular tomato products are tomato ketchup, number one, and then sun-dried tomatoes or Italian tomatoes, tomato puree, tomato juice, tomato paste. Anything that you get in the market is preserved and it contains some form of salt, and that increases the amount of sodium in all tomato products. So please try and use fresh tomatoes, or try and look for low sodium or reduced sodium in the ingredient profile of your favorite tomato products. Next on the list, pickles. So pickles are very popular all over Asia and also in America, especially with burgers. In India, we eat them with meals, and they can be used in any form. Now, one thing that you have to understand is what are pickles. Pickling is basically a form of preservation, and again, a lot of salt is added for the purpose of preservation of these pickles. So if you're trying to keep your blood pressure down, then you need to stay away from pickles or eat them as rarely as possible. Next on the list, ready-made meals, which are very popular these days. You go into the supermarket and you get that whole pack which has cut vegetables and potatoes and some form of meat or vegetables. Now these ready-made meals are also heavily preserved. They contain a lot of preservatives to increase their shelf life, and all those preservative increases the level of sodium. So if you're trying to keep your blood pressure down, please stay away from ready-made meals. Last but not the least on the list is condiments. We don't even pay attention to them. Things like teriyaki sauce or tomato ketchup or soy sauce. We just keep pouring them on our food, and we don't even count them. But just 1 tablespoon of tomato ketchup contains approximately 150 to 200 mg of sodium, and even like teriyaki sauce can reach up to 800 mg of sodium. And the worst culprit here is the soy sauce, which contains approximately around 1000 mg of sodium. So remember guys, if you still want to enjoy your condiments, don't just keep filling it up in your plate. Take it very little just to add that little bit of flavor, and try and control and avoid them if you can. Alright guys, so that was my list of foods to avoid to control your high blood pressure, and I hope these two videos are gonna greatly help you. Share them with everyone who suffers from high blood pressure, and let's strike a balance. Till next time, stay happy, stay healthy. Bye.